All right, well, it looks like we are live. Hello, everybody. This is meteorologist Andrew Pinero. So it looks like Tuesday is going to be the day that I'm doing my special weather podcast. A little bit easier, so I figured I'd try it today, but this is not a green screen. This is actually outside. So, beautiful out right now, but we do have some severe weather to talk about. All right, so I tried a couple new things here. And let's see anybody in the chat. Not yet. Ooh, there's a chat. There is a tornado watch, so we'll get to that. Well, hello, Raymond. All right. Let's see if this works. I got fancy here. So starting off, we're looking at something quite interesting, and this has been refreshing throughout the setup process to this. So, moderate risk. This is something not usual. Let's see here. So here's the legend. So regular thunderstorms. Then we have marginal, a slight, an enhanced, and a moderate. And the moderate risk, that is second highest. High I've only seen once in my entire meteorological career. Moderate I do see more so in the Midwest. So to see the moderate risk again in the Northeast is something very unusual. I don't know how I have the echo. I was hearing that too. Hello? Yeah, I hear the echo. I don't know how to get rid of it. There's only one audio source, but it's echoing. So the mute works. There's only one audio source, so I don't know why. How about now? Hello? Can you hear me? I think it's the iPad's actual microphone. So, do I have an echo right now? I don't think I should have an echo right now, but I also can't hear it. Oh, my headphones just broke. Oh well. Hello, Anthony. Thanks for joining. No echo now. So it was interesting. I think it was the actual iPad. Hello. So I hear the echo again. Yeah, interesting. What it seemed like, and there is audio now, so echo's gone. So now I figured that out. So it was odd. It looked like the iPad was taking its own audio and playing its own audio in itself. Interesting. But anyway, back to this. So, this moderate risk, that's unusual. It happened one other time, and I know, Raymond, you were saying the moderate risk was kind of a miss. So, let's take a look at some of these things. Tornado, the most severe of them. A bit more north, getting near that capital district, there is a 10% chance of a tornado, 5% in here. These are still low numbers, but they're significant enough
to cause some concern. And I have a presentation I think I have queued up. Yep, I have a presentation later that the National Weather Service put out. So that's for tornado, wind, pretty much right in spot with that. Yeah, that's what I'm just going to, Raymond. There's that 60% chance of strong, damaging winds. So that's something also to take notice. All right. But you wouldn't think it, or you wouldn't thunk it, you could say. It's beautiful right now. Let me see if I can actually pull this up. Ooh, I got fancy here. I mean, when you look at this, and this is the iPad's camera, there's blue sky. There's not really any clouds. So when you're looking at that, I don't know. That's something funny that I really can't explain to a lot of. It just happens, and that's something that happens dynamically with the atmosphere. Beautiful blue sky right now, but not too long. What time is it now? It's about 1:50. Severe thunderstorm watch. I just got the notice. Severe thunderstorm watch issued 1:41 p.m. until 11 p.m. So now, before we get to the watches and warnings, I'll finish going through here. We got that 60% wind and now hail. Hail also is going up a bit more north to the Capital District, but that's still quite a good chunk, 30%, 15%. It's something that's cause for concern. Also, I'm trying a couple new things here, too, which I kind of like. I got a new little portable studio light. It does make a difference with the lighting. If I just get it out of my glasses. Yes, the 10% is very unusual in the Capital District there. It's also hot, so I, hopefully that wasn't too loud. I brought some water outside with me. Oops. Sorry if that was too loud. I think that should be good. Okay. And Anthony, yes. Sunny skies is one of the ingredients because when we're dealing with convection, let me bring myself back up. So when we're dealing with convection, essentially it's like a convection oven. You have to have a heat source. If you have cloudy skies, there's not really a heat source going on. What you have to have is like right now, beautiful sun. You even see right down here, bright sun out there. And with the bright sun, it's heating the ground. The ground then radiates that heat back. And when it's radiating that heat back up into the atmosphere, it cools down, and then it starts dropping because hot air is less dense than cool air. Or cold air, even once you get to the upper troposphere. It's like negative 40 degrees once you get up there. But essentially, you have the warm air rising, it cools, and it comes back down. And you have this cycle. That convection needs a heat source. And in an oven, that could be electric with little electric elements down there. I have a gas oven, so the flame at the bottom, that's the heat source. In our case, in the atmosphere, it's the sun heating the ground, which is the very bottom that we need it to have this convection going on. So essentially, for a severe weather outbreak, all the ingredients will be coming together. Tech Man, hello, welcome. I don't think I've recognized you from before, but if I haven't, I'm sorry, but welcome. So, yes, for anywhere in Pennsylvania, there is still, and then let me bring this back up. There is still right here this enhanced risk, even going into a slight risk for almost all of Pennsylvania. I don't know specifically where York, Pennsylvania is, but there's still a chance for some severe weather. I don't think necessarily anything in terms of the tornado or hail, because it's going down there a little bit into Pennsylvania. And hail, yeah, you're still getting that 30%. So I don't know exactly south of Harris, South Central. Okay, South Central. So it's near the hail. So this is showing hail right now. 30% hail, 15% hail. Tornado, it's still, you're still in that bullseye. You're still in the target. You're not at the bullseye, but you're still in the target region. So quite interesting there. Now, since I just got the notice on my watch, let me see. Refresh. All right, here we go. I got pollen falling all around me. And yes, Anthony, I just saw your comment. Yes, so even on a 90-degree day at the surface, everything starts at snow in the upper atmosphere. So almost all the tri-state region is in a severe thunderstorm watch. Now, let's go a bit more northwest. And now the yellow, we have, oh, look at this. We got a tornado warning. We got a tornado warning in Pennsylvania. Let's take a look at this. That's why I love going live. Let's look at some of these. All right, let's see if we could spot it on the radar. So there's a classic echo here, essentially called a hook echo. Let me get the towns up there. So, Techman, you're in Pennsylvania. You may know some of these towns. Come on. You could zoom. There we go. So, right here, where the mouse is pointing, this is called a hook echo. So the tornado's probably in here. Now, there's a couple other things we'll look at in a second, but first I want to take a look at the live loop. It's a quick pace there. It's starting to break apart in that very last frame, which looks like the newest frame. But if we go back a couple frames, this is your classic hook echo right there. So that's the radar. The regular reflectivity, it's called. Now what I want to show you is the relative velocities. Here we go. All right, here. And let's go back a couple frames. Oh, it's loading. Let's see where that... So that storm's moving, or has winds moving at about 60 miles an hour there. But essentially what we'd be looking for is something called shear. There's a lot of lightning strikes going on in there, too. All those are lightning strikes. And yes, Techman, this is radar scope. So I have it both for the Mac that I'm using now, and I have it on the iPhone. Yeah, so this whole stream right now is happening from a MacBook, an iPad, and an iPhone. This is the one thing I like with this setup. It's all battery operated, so I could be anywhere with this setup. So there's no power lines coming in, and I'm just watching some batteries around. The only one that's going to be low, it looks like soon, which I may need, is the stream from the HDMI of the computer going into the iPad. But we'll see how far that goes. That battery doesn't seem to last the longest. So let's see here. Yeah. I don't see something called gate-to-gate shear. Maybe a tiny bit in there. Zoom really far in. So green, right there. That is showing negative. Let's say right about in here. Say negative 10 miles per hour. Thanks, Tech Man. It is quite the setup. So in here, about negative 10 miles per hour. And then in the red, positive 10 miles per hour. So right there, that is what would be considered gate-to-gate shear. Because all of these little blocks are considered gates. So there may be, if not a tornado on the ground, there's definitely a wall cloud going on over there. And into New York, a severe thunderstorm warning just popped up here as well. Like, that's not the stream freezing. That's actually my computer freezing. And yes, this whole streaming setup is getting much easier, especially a green screen. I'm running a green screen when I'm inside the studio on mobile technology. So my green screen setup is mobile too. And let's switch back to reflectivity. So there's some severe thunderstorms popping up. So it's starting. I don't know. I think the computer may be. Oh yeah, maybe overheating. It's hot outside here. As of, and I'd love to hear where what the temperature is by you guys, but it's 86 degrees where I am. So the computer and the tech is not really designed to work in that kind of hot environment, so that's why it's stuttering a little bit. Well, there's some active things going on right now. And just reading your question there, Raymond. Yes. Northeast severe thunderstorms are very complicated. Well, thunderstorms in general can be complicated, but I like thunderstorms, and they're not the hardest to forecast for. So I was saying this when I was on because I'm on television on the weekends. The hardest to forecast for is snow, especially going into late winter into spring, because you have the change of precipitation that you have to factor in. So that's what makes it very challenging there. All right, so that's the live radar. Let's go back here. And now that was just updated because that must just come out within the past, say, 5 minutes. Tornado watches, the tornado warning there in Pennsylvania, severe thunderstorm watches. It's an active day. So, Anthony, with your question, there's not really a set value. 35 to 45 knots, or this app was showing just in miles per hour. I think it was showing miles per hour, wasn't it? Let me just double check. So I know a lot of the upper air stuff is knots. Yeah, this is showing miles per hour. The legend there. But 35 to 45, not whether it's knots or miles per hour, if that's your gate-to-gate shear, I would say there's almost 100% chance there's a tornado going on in there. There's no like set value. Typically, the higher the gate-to-gate shear, the more likely there's a tornado. I would probably say maybe over 20. That's a good chance of a tornado. That's why when that was about 10 that we were looking at, it may not, there's definitely rotation in there, but it may not actually be on the ground just yet. But I could be wrong. We'll have to wait for some spotter stuff to come on in. So we have quite some active stuff, even starting to pop up now. And we didn't even take a look at any forecast models just yet. And gate-to-gate shear, I'll go back over here. There's another tornado warning that just popped up for another county. TechMan, I'm just pulling this back up for you. Trying to see if I can find anything. Doesn't help that the computer's stuttering. So let's go back a couple frames. Right there. That's what we were looking at before. So, TechMan, a gate is considered one of these little squares. That's a gate. So this is, I'd say, opaque green. So when we match opaque green down here, it's right around this 5 to 10 mile per hour mark, negative. And that was important to see is negative because this is all relative towards the radar station. So negative 10 miles per hour means that that area on the radar is moving about 10 miles per hour away from the radar station. Now, the next square right next to it, here and on the other side, they're both in the red, but this whitish red. So that's probably about 5 to 10 positive miles per hour. So that's moving towards the radar station at 5 to 10 miles per hour. So the net difference, there's a bird that just joined me for the show up here, but the net difference, let's say negative 10. So you got negative 10 and positive 10. That would be a 20 mile per hour shear. So there's a 20 mile per hour difference between the rotations there. And when you have that type of difference, that's what starts the spin in the atmosphere. You have one side coming this way, one side going this way. And that in the middle is causing spin. So that's what shear is. Gate-to-gate shear specifically, I just lost the frame there. The gate-to-gate shear, even a little bit in here, this grayish to the red. The gate-to-gate shear is those little squares that you see. That is the strongest way to know about shear, is if each of these gates right in between each other have pretty strong convection or pretty strong shear going on. So that's essentially what gate-to-gate shear is. So we saw the live radars now. This is kind of the way I was trained with forecasting with meteorology in my meteorology degree. Is you look at diagnostic first, see what's going on right now, then you move towards the models to see what's going to happen. And this is going to be a little bit of a mode called nowcasting, where we're looking at something that's out there right now and seeing where it's going to go over the next couple of hours. Forecasting has to deal with maybe something that doesn't even exist just yet. So, Raymond, I would say there's a 0 to 100% chance, somewhere in the middle there, of an EF3 tornado. And TechMan, you are very welcome. And so, gate-to-gate shear is something interesting to look at when you're really zooming in close on radar. All right, so we have the diagnostics part down. Let's look at some models. So with these forecast models, this one is the RPM, which is typically what you see as the futurecast on television. This yellow, that's definitely over 2,000 for a Cape, getting up to even this whitish area in southern New Jersey. That's almost off the charts. And this is measured, I'll zoom in a little bit, CAPE. It's an acronym that stands for Convective Available Potential Energy. And any kind of potential energy has to deal with energy per mass. Joules, which is just energy, and then you have a mass. So that's potential energy. I have pollen flying all over my stuff here. So typically anything above 1,000 is a good certainty that you got some good potential for tornadoes, or not tornadoes, thunderstorms. Tornadoes have a little bit to do with CAPE, but CAPE itself isn't an indicator of tornadoes. So we got some good CAPE there. And now this is the forecasted radar. So let's back it up to the very beginning. And it's showing that line. So it's called validating pretty accurately. So this line here, this model run, I believe, is the 12Z. Or is it the 15Z? I think this is the 12Z. So earlier this morning. And it's showing it was accurate pretty well. This is starting now in this image to go through my area, which is just near New York City. And that's where we have a strong line. It looks like it's more not really good radar signature for tornadoes because it's more straight line winds. With a tornado, that's where you definitely need to see that hook echo, that kind of twist in the radar, which wasn't really happening there. But time-wise, that was, ooh, here comes some strong winds. I don't know if you can hear that in the microphone. I have an umbrella here that's blocking the sun, and it's shaking the whole table. I don't think the camera's shaking. I think it's good. But all of a sudden now, the wind just really picked up. And here comes the school bus, all the little kids coming off school. But it's starting to pick up in my area. Let's see. So where are we? RPM. That's the RPM. I think I have a helicopter somewhere also flying over me. And Raymond, I do have the 3-kilometer NAM queued up here, so we'll get to that. Now we're on the Euro. And the Euro was showing it a bit more. What time is this? So this is more this evening, but it's showing it more north. So timing-wise, the Euro is not validating good at all, or validating well. It's showing this little intense spot, which is happening right now. It's just the wrong time. So this is where it's a kind of a test for the forecast models. If it's validating inaccurately, that really should lower your confidence in it. So that's the Euro. Now we're switching to the good old Tropical Tidbits website here. And there's the GFS. So let's see about the timing-wise. can't really tell because it's not intense. This is not, also another thing, this is not simulated radar. This is just amount of precipitation. But you would think it would pick up these thunderstorms, they're just dumping and dumping rain. It's not the GFS. So timing-wise, it's on the more accurate side, but intensity, it's not there. Canadian, not my favorite. Probably one of the least accurate, but you gotta look at everything. It's there in terms of position, but we'll see about the intensity because it's a bit more on the lines of the GFS. Now, here's the Icon model. And yes, that RPM model was the one I was just showing from this morning. So the Icon model, which is a German model, is getting the intensity. It's also getting the timing. So these little pockets of yellow is what I was expecting on the GFS, but it just wasn't showing up. So Icon is going to be I'm placing the Icon model above the GFS and the Canadian, more in lines with the RPM model. So that's Icon model. And now, Raymond, here is your 3-kilometer NAM. And when I say, if anyone's not familiar with it, kilometers, this has to deal with resolution. The lower or the smaller the resolution there, 3 kilometers versus, say, 100 kilometers, which is the GFS, the more resolution there is. Like pixels. You shrink the pixels down, the higher the resolution. You shrink each block here, so you shrink the kilometers, you get better resolution. So, what time is it? It is a little after 18Z. So let's go to 18Z there. All right, so when we look at the 3-kilometer NAM, it has the position there, or it has the timing, or the intensity. Positions a little bit, ever so slightly more west than what the radar was showing. So let me go back to the radar image here. Come on, let's do it. It feels like it's an all or nothing thing with this. All right, so this is pretty much on a diagonal from northeast to southwest Pennsylvania. Pretty much in the middle is where the intense part is, central Pennsylvania. The intensity on this forecast model is there, but it's more west. So not the most accurate. I would say the Icon model is validating much better than, or not much better, but a little bit better than the 3-kilometer NAM. So if I go back a little bit, here's 18Z. Still not the best. The intensity is not really there. So again, that's where this becomes a bit more of an art with forecasting with meteorology. Because not any single one of these will be accurate. It's I'm internalizing it when I make a forecast for television. Essentially, I'm internalizing all of these, and I have to kind of make my own internal forecast model out of all of these. It seems like the cells have been going northeast. Well, let's see. There they look like they're going pretty much wherever it is, the position's going due east. And let's switch to Albany's. Albany's is going a bit more northeast. So the ones in Pennsylvania were going a bit more due east. And then the ones in near Albany are going more northeast. I'm also keeping an eye on this, so I have enough time to break down this whole setup, which would probably take maybe 15, 20 minutes to get inside before it rains. Don't want to destroy the technology. So we got some easterly movements. All this out here is moving due east. The stuff around Albany is moving northeast. And even going a bit more north. This is not thunderstorms. These are just some, I'd say, intense periods of rain. And this is what's nice with this app. They have these little M-pings. So it's raining as a 2:15 near, where is that? Chittenango? Yeah. I think that's automated, those M-ping reports. Also, I want to just check one thing here. Oh, I think I see why. I think I might have been lagging because I was watching the stream. I have 2 user accounts on this computer. I'm just checking something because I'm waiting on some stuff to go on sale. It's not there yet. So if anybody just joining is fairly new, besides weather is my main focus. I have 2 other interests or hobbies, I guess you could say, I do on the YouTube channel here. Cars. On one of my playlists on this YouTube channel, I have a whole How to Drive Manual series, which I just finished and posted all the episodes as of last Thursday, and also is gaming computers and gaming itself. So I have some other parts coming in, and I'm waiting on ordering one more, which is at a pretty good discount. But the sale did not go live just yet, so I'll be checking that here and there. All right, let me switch back to this. And there we go. And just going back through some of these comments here from you. Sounding in Albany. Let's take a look at that. Depends on. Let me see. No, I don't know if I still have the link. The PSU, Pennsylvania State University. EWAL, it's called. These are a bunch of my weather forecasting bookmarks. If not, let me try PSU EWAL. Here it is. Now, this may look complicated, but once you kind of get familiar with it, it's not. So I am looking for soundings. Just forgot where they are. Convective outlook, satellite. I went in Connecticut. I went to Western Connecticut State University. I got a full Bachelor of Science degree in meteorology. Looks like some things may have changed here. I'm just looking for sounding. No. Surface plots. Unless they put it in there. No, they didn't. This is where I used to go for the no, it's not Plymouth State. Here, I'll show you. There, at the top here. Pennsylvania State University. But I get what you were saying. Plymouth State University, PSU, is also a thing, but This specifically, the site I was using, because Pennsylvania State University was one of the ones I was looking at getting into, but never went with. So what do we have 40 minutes in the live stream, and I've already gone down the computer to 51%. Batteries are still going good. All this takes up a lot of battery power. So I won't take any more time trying to find that, but here goes back the 3 kilometer. So the 3 kilometer NAM seems to have the intensity correct, but the timing not so much. Ooh, here comes another gust of wind. Now, another thing I wanted to show you guys is the tornado warning still up. Let's see. Yes. Ah, this is so much better. It must have had to do with I was watching on my other user account. I was watching the live stream, which was bogging this guy down. So that one's good. This is feeling better now. So yes, the tornado warning is still up. Now, this one's probably going to be expiring because let me pause this. If you notice inside this tornado warning, there's pretty much nothing there. Expires in 3 minutes. So typically what the national I'm thinking back, checking the outputs. I'm back. Okay. And I see broadcasting, it's outputting. Good. Don't know what happened there. The app just crashed for the streaming. Just blanked that. So I guess the heat is affecting all the technology, which is why I have my regular studio kind of set at 68 degrees Fahrenheit, just because technology and heat don't tend to go well together. Anyway, back to this, and I still got my computer HDMI output going, which is great. Tornado warning is still in effect. Expires in 1 minute. So what I was saying just before the app crashed is typically what the National Weather Service does, if they have a set end time for, say, a tornado warning, and any chance of it's pretty much gone, if it's within, say, like 5 minutes of its expiring, they're just going to let it go and have it just expire when they were forecasting it to expire. If it's, say, a severe thunderstorm warning, like this one was pretty long. This one expires in 16 minutes. It's a pretty long one. So this is probably going to stay around for another 16 minutes. But what happens is if the severe thunderstorm warning is going on and it says maybe another 20 minutes and the storm is completely gone, they'll expire it early, but you have to have somebody manually override that versus just letting the system expire it when you have that set end time. Really? Because Joe Chaffee was telling me that we should do this kind of stream together. I would think, so I'm in this bubble right now on this side, there we go, on that side. So I'm in this bubble, and then I would put on the other side, maybe Joe Chaffee, and we'd have a double live stream. We were just trying to figure that out. Ooh, I got some clouds starting to come in. What my professor meteorology called, these were fair weather cumulus, which is kind of the thing right now. It's pretty fair weather going on right now, but you could see maybe the lighting kind of effect here. So clouds are starting to come in, and from just a perspective, this side, that is north for me. So when we're looking at anything coming this side, when I'm looking out this way, that's the westerly sky is straight, basically where I'm looking at. So that's where I would start to see stuff moving on in. And I am glad you like it, Tech Man. Feel free if you want to check out any of my other stuff I have on the channel too with the cars and computers. And if I have enough battery power, I will show you guys at the end some new things I was working on. The only thing I'm just going to check. Back to the main here. I'm really waiting on. It's basically a processor I'm waiting on. I have a new motherboard for the gaming computer. I have a live stream, about an hour and a half long live stream of upgrading my current gaming system to SLI, 2 GTX 1080s and SLI liquid cooled. CPU's liquid cooled. But it looks like this is not up just yet. It says it goes live the afternoon of the 15th, which should be soon. So this will be keep checking in and out. I like having 2 user accounts on the computer doing this. And I'm going to switch back to my picture-in-picture. Good. All right, so back to this. Yeah, bulk of the severe action is south of the capital. I know you love severe weather, Raymond, but it doesn't typically happen too far into right around Albany. But something interesting I was seeing here. No, it looks like it was taken. Oh wait, do I have to? Yes, here we go. So this is near Woodstock. Wind damage, a report came in. Lawn furniture or trash cans displaced, small twigs broken. So the wind damage is starting to get there. This was part of the severe thunderstorm warning that expires in about 12 minutes. Oh, and going back to... There it is. That tornado watch expired. Or tornado warning, sorry. Now, there is still one tornado warning. This one's expiring in 12 minutes. But let's see if I switch back to that Pennsylvania one. Let's see where it's going. Come on. If we see any hook echoes. I do not there. Yeah. I don't see any hook echoes. Now let's switch to the velocities. Okay. These are probably false echoes going on in there, but in here, so the bright whites, those are getting up there, maybe 45, 50 miles per hour. But then here, these darker ones. So this is something different. So there are different types of shear. And let me switch back and I'll just do a quick explanation of different types of shear. All right. So you have a couple different types of shear. You have speed shear and directional shear. So speed shear is a difference in speed. That's what we were seeing on the radar. So you have 40 miles per hour going this way. Then you have 20 miles per hour going this way. That speed difference, it may not have a directional difference. They're both going in the same direction, but they're going at different rates. So the faster one and the slightly slower one can cause a little bit of spin and rotation to happen. That's speed shear. Directional shear we were looking at before in Pennsylvania as well, which showed you have winds coming this way and you have winds going that way. They're completely in opposite directions. That's the stronger type of shear, which is the directional shear. Speed shear is not as strong just because they're moving in the same direction, but it's still a type of shear and you can still get some rotation going on from there. So there's some speed shear out there inside that tornado warning. All right, the next thing I wanted to show you guys was actually a presentation that the National Weather Service put out this morning. This was at 6 a.m. This was their 6 a.m. update. They finalized this as their final update for this. So severe thunderstorms possible this afternoon and early evening. This one as of 6 a.m. May 15th, briefing number 1. This was the only briefing they really put out there. Tornado warning in New York. Well, let's see. There it is. There be the tornado warning. Yeah, let's see here. There is gate-to-gate shear. There's a little bit of everything. So we got yellows. It's probably about here. That's 70 miles per hour. And then the gray, which is right about here, which is maybe about 0 or not moving. Then going into the greens, right here. That is a perfect example, and I'm going to screenshot this. So a screenshot of this. This is a perfect textbook example of gate-to-gate shear. Red, right there. Oh, it just moved. There. Red. That's, say, 20. Go away. 20 to 30 miles per hour, let's say, in there. Green. Stop it. Negative 20 to negative 30 miles per hour. There is your 60 mile per hour shear going on right there. 60 mile per hour difference. There is a high possibility of a tornado going on there. Let's see. Raymond, I'm just going to check here. So I have the Storm Prediction Center up. So the blue, that wasn't there before, that's called a mesoscale discussion. Oh, that was the watches. But I did see the mesoscale discussion. Those are interesting to always read as well. Mesoscale discussion. So this is what was going on before. So that one's pretty much over. There's another one near Massachusetts here. Southern New England. Any storm reports? Nothing here yet. There are some storm reports going on. So the blue ones, let's see. No tornado reports. Wind reports. That's pretty much it. So tornado reports are going to be the big ones. So we got hail and wind. But when you look at this from the Storm Prediction Center, it's quite busy going on right over here in the Northeast. Where was that? Oh, yeah. So I'll just go through this really quickly just because there's nothing much. It's more of a little briefing going on. So, severe weather threat for the entire tri-state region, damaging wind threat this afternoon early. This is going on right now. So they were pretty much accurate with this. Types. So this is what the briefing was from the National Weather Service this morning. Damaging winds down trees, power lines, along with isolated structural damage. Entire tri-state region this afternoon, early this evening. I'm pretty much going across the line here. Flash flooding. Isolated flash flooding is possible, especially where multiple storms train over the same area, which is what's happening in Pennsylvania, even coming into New Jersey, because those systems were moving due east. The ones moving northeast, those don't have as much of a chance of having this training going on, which is one system, then another system right on top of each other. Those you need due if it's moving due north, due east, due south, due west. The diagonals don't really work as well with that training, but It's a possibility. So the rainfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour. Imagine if this was winter again. That'd be 1 to 2 feet per hour, or close enough, because we assume that 1 to 10 ratio as a standard. Could be 1 to 2 feet per hour. Entire tri-state region this afternoon, early this evening. Hail, large hail, can cause damage to vehicles and other property. Much of lower Hudson Valley, northeast New Jersey, and interior southwest Connecticut. So it looks like from what they're saying, Pennsylvania didn't really have the higher hail risk because it wasn't even mentioned there for large hail. Maybe tiny little pea-sized hail. That could be possible through Pennsylvania because we saw that categorical risk of hail. Isolated tornadoes. Isolated tornadoes are possible with damage to structure, trees, power lines, power outages possible. Much of lower Hudson Valley, northeast New Jersey, and interior southwest Connecticut. So that's going on right now. And if we go back to that radar image, I'll go back to the one in New York. Oh, we got two. We got 2 tornadoes. And here's a storm. Is that a storm report? Wait, let me see. Nope, that's not a storm report. That's just the cell. So we got 2. Oh, this is... I'm not going to say exactly where I live, but this tornado warning is getting kind of close to me. So, how long have we been going? We're going almost an hour now. So, maybe not too much longer because I do want to get all this equipment back in before anything actually pops up. I just hit my elbow. Oh, that hurt. Anyway. Ooh, and this pollen. There's your pollen right there. Let me get the full screen up. That's what's flying through my area and falling on all the equipment. All right, so back to this. We do have a couple tornado warnings. Sullivan, Ulster County. We got a tornado warning. I am sure, Raymond, if you follow Joe Jaffe, he's probably at work right now. Let's see. We got some work emails. Severe thunderstorm watch. Let me just, I got a group chat I'm in. Let me go into this. We got some tornado warnings in Sullivan and Ulster counties. Also, I have an automated thing. I'm just going to check my Twitter account. That should have popped up. Let's see. This is a test of some automation going on. There it is. Tornado warning. Good. I like it when technology works. All right, just a quick little swig of some water. I think it's good. All right. We got tornado warnings. I'm actually going to tweet, send those out a couple other spots as well, because this is very pressing going on right now. Let's see if I could share. we go. Copy link. I'm learning all this social media. Social media was never really my strong suit. Tornado warning in Sullivan and Ulster counties. That's out there. Also, I'm going to check real quick that processor I'm waiting on. Let me see here. Looks like not yet. The summer deal will open the afternoon of May 15th. It should be soon. All right. Switch back there. Good. So, back to this presentation. So that's pretty much everything's coming together right now. Large hail can cause damage to vehicles, much lower Hudson Valley. This afternoon, isolated tornadoes possible with damage to structure, trees, power lines. Power outages possible as well. Much of the lower Hudson Valley, northeast New Jersey, and southwest Connecticut. They did not mention in there the chance going on in Pennsylvania, which there are tornado warnings still in Pennsylvania. If I go back here, there's a tornado warning active right now. When does it expire? Come on, click. Oh, undo that. Expires in 42 minutes. If you can't see the screen there. Yes, tornado warning was up for P. It just expired before our eyes. Now, there's another one that popped up. Central Northumberland County in central Pennsylvania, northeast Snyder County in central Pennsylvania, southern Montour County in central Pennsylvania, southeastern Union County in central Pennsylvania until 3:30 p.m. Tornado and quarter-size hail, radar indicated. Flying debris will be dangerous caught in a tornado. Yeah, that's kind of a given. That's there. And we got that warning there. Wind damage. Let's see what kind of wind damage. Trees uprooted or snapped. Roof blown off. We got a roof blown off. Roofs being blown off. Trees being uprooted. I think that means there is a tornado. Because you can have... pollen. Get away. You can have straight line wind damage. And there's not going to be an official recording from the National Weather Service confirming a tornado until they send out a survey team after the fact. And that survey team is not obviously going to be going out while it's happening. And yep, they removed the old tornado warning and issued a new one in Pennsylvania. Well, yeah. Trees uprooted or snapped and roof blown off. That's what that MPing report was there. There's another one. Wind damage. What do we got? Lawn furniture or trash can displaced, small twigs broken. Another one here. This is from the storm's pretty much gone out of this area. 3-inch tree limbs broken, power poles broken. So I like getting these live storm updates. We have another one here, Sussex County, or just near Sussex County. Wind damage. This one's still technically in Pennsylvania. It's not New Jersey just yet. Lawn furniture, trash cans displaced, small twigs broken. Milford. Just before the New Jersey border going into Sussex County. 2 tornado warnings. Yeah, there we go. Things are starting to pop up here. Let me switch this back to here. Come on. All right, so here, there's some gate-to-gate shear. That looks more like directional shear. Definitely directional shear. Or speed shear, I should say. Speed shear, a little bit of speed shear. That's directional shear. Expires in 38 minutes. Expires in 38 minutes. And now let's switch to the reflectivity. Any hook echoes in here? Not really, but the pink, that's really high on the radar. DBZ decibels, 60 decibels, and that's a dark pink. So that's, say, 70 decibels. That's quite strong. So there we got 2 tornado warnings right now in Pennsylvania. Oh, here's a new one. 3, and this is not too far north of me. 3 tornado warnings in the lower Hudson Valley. So we got a new one in Ulster County. I'm sure that posted. Let me just refresh. Things are happening. Now, new post, new tornado warning for Ulster. Helps if I could type it right. Ulster. Stop it. It keeps writing the wrong letter. Why? 3 tornado warnings in Hudson Valley. Making sure all my viewers and followers get informed. Share this. And can't forget about Instagram. Instagram's probably the newest one. The newest social media that I've started using. Let's share this out via Instagram. Caps Lock tornado warnings. In Hudson Valley. Good, that is done. So yeah, and it looks like we got a lot of these here are M-ping tests, these little ones. These circles. Oh, these are hail. I thought these were tests. We got some hail. So this one's near Woodstock. Wind damage, lawn furniture. Here we have half-inch hail, pea-size hail, 1 1/4 inch size hail. Wow. It's a little bit hard to see, but there's really 3 tornado warnings here. It looks like essentially this should just be one long tornado warning and another one right up here. Now let me bring up Albany's radar. It's getting active. So yeah, Anthony, you're right. Technically, there are 4 separate tornado warnings in New York, but I would think these 3 here should be 1 tornado warning. And then this one, that's actually just getting into Dutchess County. Should be, yeah, separate. So there should technically, I think, be 2. One long one and another smaller one. Wow, I got a lot of pollen coming down, and I'm looking at the clouds coming in. So let's see what else this was saying. Isolated tornadoes, yeah, there's tornadoes. Summary of greatest impacts: damaging winds, elevated, limited for flooding, limited for large hail, limited for tornadoes. We'll see how limited that actually is with the tornadoes. So here, enhanced risk. This was actually before they issued a moderate risk. Wind gusts up to 65 miles per hour. If we get a couple of maybe EF2 to EF3 tornadoes, that's definitely going to go over 65 miles per hour. Hail up to 1 inch, that's already been surpassed because that radar report, was it this one? 1 1/4 size hail. So, New Jersey Transit behind us there. $50 size, which is pretty much 1 1/4 inch. So that's already been surpassed. Weak tornadoes possible. You're never going to get really strong. I shouldn't say never, because you should never say never when you're forecasting the weather. I should put that on a t-shirt. You should never say never when forecasting the weather. But most likely you're not going to get these like EF5 tornadoes in New York. Doesn't mean it hasn't happened. But you're probably not going to get those. The weak tornadoes, EF0 to 3. 3 is a little bit in the middle, but yeah, it's happening. Heaviest rain from 4 to 9 p.m. So that's the rain part, which I haven't gotten anything just yet here. Uncertainty impact of marine influence from New York City on east. So this is going a bit more into Connecticut and Long Island. Exact magnitude of severe gusts could be stronger than 65, so they gave themselves a little bit of wiggle room. And here, flash flooding. Rainfall of 1/2 inch to 1 inch with locally higher rainfall amounts. Rainfall rates around 1 to 2 inches per hour possible. Rapid flooding, urban areas, low-lying. So with the urban areas, essentially what that means is when you have a lot of tarmac, like in New York City, there's nowhere, especially if the sewer is clogged, there's nowhere for that rain to go. So it's just going to flood the streets. That's where in a lot of the hurricanes, you saw all this excess water start going down into the subways because water wants to go down towards the center of the earth, essentially, because that's the gravitational pull. So that's what's going on right there. And forecast uncertainty. Exact impact of marine influence, again, will determine how far east and south severe threat gets. Magnitude of wind gusts is uncertain. Low end potential for 70 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts. I'm getting quite a bit of wind gusts there. Extent of flash flooding most likely will not occur due to fast-moving storms. We'll see about that. However, if 1 inch plus per hour rain does happen, so they gave themselves, again, some little wiggle room. Event summary, severe thunderstorms possible across the entire tri-state area. Main threat for damaging winds, lower threat from large hail, isolated tornadoes, flash flooding. And if anybody wants to follow the National Weather Service, here's their web link, especially for the OKX, which is Upton's office. Phone number, email, their Facebook account, Twitter account, and YouTube account. Do not use after 6 p.m. So it's before 6 p.m., so I'm using it. So that was the presentation. Let's take a look at what's going on with these warnings. There's still technically now 3 tornado warnings in New York, still 2 tornado warnings going on in Pennsylvania. And Anthony, yes, you are kind of right. It isn't in Pennsylvania, but the point I was making, this is still within the Weather Forecast Office area, which is Dutchess County. There is a 1 1/4 inch sized hail, which was $half sized hail. And that's well within, or it's right on the border between Albany and Upton. Maybe that could be the reason, because it's just beyond their area, but I would say they should still have that at least in the area. But yeah, technically, all the stuff in Pennsylvania is not there. And when we go back to the categorical risks, day 1, hail. We go specifically to hail. The Storm Prediction Center has this hail risk. Yeah, it's still 30% chance right where that 1 1/4 inch hail is through Pennsylvania. So, yeah, it's there. All right. So that's pretty much what I wanted to cover. Some live stuff going on right now. I'll keep you guys posted with other updates if there's new tornado warnings and stuff going on. Before the winds really start to kick up and let me just check for the radar. I'm still good where I am, but it's getting a little bit close for comfort. So I'm going to start breaking this down, start moving inside. And thank you guys all for joining. Anybody new? Thank you for joining. Techman, I know you, I haven't really seen you in the comments too much, but thank you again for joining. Definitely stay safe. That's the biggest thing I can say is please stay safe throughout this. Once we do get past this severe weather on Tuesday, today, it's really going to start to slow down a bit. We're going to have an unsettled rain chance pretty much through the weekend. And a little bit cooler. We're in the 60s and the 70s again, not the 80s. It's 87 degrees where I am right now. So, let me pull this back up. So we pretty much have stuff popping up right now. I'll keep you guys updated. And that was pretty much it. This is meteorologist Andrew Pinero. If you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe to my channel. I got the weather stuff is my main stuff. I'll have some gaming computer stuff. I got some new things I'm still waiting on. And I have more car stuff for you guys. So have a great day. Please stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode or the next live stream.